Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth. We're going to get started here. Give it another minute or so, a bit of a last minute live stream. So give it another 30 to 60 seconds and we'll get started. All right, I see we have some people joining us. Welcome, welcome. Last minute live stream. We're going to get started here in about a half a minute. We'll give it just a little bit longer for people to jump on. All right, welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, everybody. It's Rod with Pow Group. It is Monday, March 10th. Hope you had a great weekend. And the market has been absolutely brutal again today. We're going to be discussing, is it time to panic? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the live chat or in the comments after the video live stream ends, depending on whenever you're tuning in. But we're going to be discussing, is the market collapsing? Is it confirmed? Is this the end? We'll discuss all of that and more. I'll give my thoughts and opinions. Before we do, make sure to smash the like, help support me in the channel. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. And as always, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. There was a massive hack on X today. I think it was the fourth attempt. But you can follow us over there. Handle for that is @GroupPow. And yeah, everything should be restored now. But Elon did send out a note about it, and he said that he believes it was well orchestrated, and it was more than likely some country that was doing it. And as we know, there was that big $1.4 billion Ethereum hack by North Korea, I think it was. So it's very possible that it was kind of the same people behind that. But we'll see if more information surfaces here. But that was obviously adding a little bit of uncertainty to the market. And as we know, the markets do not like uncertainty. So breaking, this is from Watcher Guru. Breaking over 1.75 trillion was wiped out of the US stock market today. So a lot of red out there. We had some outliers, but for the most part, the whole market has been getting absolutely slammed. You can see here crypto, Litecoin back, I think it hit $86. Yeah, 86 was the low. Bitcoin did test 77,000. And we do have monthly EMA 12 at 76,000. A lot of names basically in crypto and stocks, they're just back testing monthly EMA 12. So a lot of people are saying, you know, the sky is falling, it's the end of the world, market's collapsing. I beg to differ. We're not even down 10% from the all-time high on the S&P 500. While it sucks, nothing goes in a straight line forever. And just because we pull back 8% on the S&P doesn't mean that, you know, the bull market is over. But curious to hear what everybody else has to say or thinks. Do you think the bull market is over? Personally, I was mentioning to Pow Group private members that in my retirement account, I'm completely out. I'm pretty much all into cash. It's in a money market fund, which is essentially cash. And I mentioned as well to Pow Group private community members that I expected us to hit daily oversold and to actually print it. Print it means we come down and see 30 or below at the end of the daily candle. And today we basically hit daily oversold. And with that lower wick, we were certainly into the oversold territory. And that was the first time since August. So again, nothing goes in a straight line forever. But again, this isn't the end of the world, in my opinion. We could even be heading to weekly oversold here. I would expect more than likely some sort of, you know, relief rally, whether it be a daily or a weekly lower high, and then one more potential lower low. We could hit weekly oversold, which this would be the first time since back in the summer of 2022. So again, it's going on 3 years since we've been weekly oversold. This is why you need to learn how to read a chart. And you know, RSI is so simple, right? It's just overbought and oversold. If you're 70 and above, it's considered overheated, probably going to be expecting a pullback soon. If you're at around 30 or below, you're oversold, probably going to expect a bounce soon, right? So again, this is just a very simple indicator that when you see something like this, we even had bearish RSI divergence with lower highs, lower lows on the RSI and higher lows, higher highs on the price. When that happens, usually something's got to give, and we're more than likely going to expect a pretty big pullback. And again, if you just use the RSI indicator, that will tell you, and if you just go a little bit further than oversold and, are we currently oversold or overbought? Well, you can go a step further and you can say, okay, when was the last time we were oversold? And if it's been almost 3 years, well, then the odds of that happening sooner rather than later are going to go up drastically, right? So that's just a very simple indicator that you can use. But when in doubt, zoom out, look at the monthly time frame on the S&P 500 here. We're just back testing monthly EMA 12. This is really the first time since back here in August of 2024 as well, when we were daily oversold, right? But it's still just a monthly higher low. So we're still in a monthly uptrend. There's nothing to worry about here. If we're still in a monthly uptrend, what is there to worry about? There's absolutely nothing to worry about. So for example, back here in the summer of 2023, from the high to the low there of that monthly higher low, we were down about 10.5%. Okay, well, you had another monthly higher low here. We had another monthly higher low here. And now we have another additional monthly higher low. We're still holding monthly EMA 12, so there's nothing to worry about. Could we see another leg down? Absolutely. But I don't think it'll be the end of the world. I will be coming on here and I'll be saying it is time to panic. Well, we shouldn't be panicking anyway. We should be prepared for all scenarios, right? Up, down, and sideways. It can go one of three ways. So as long as you're prepared, there's no need to panic. But market collapse confirmed? No, I don't think so. When I come on here and I actually do a video stating that I believe that the market is collapsing, it's going to be one of two things. We're either going to lose the monthly uptrend or we're going to confirm a monthly downtrend. And that would look something like this. You would form a lower high and a lower low. Or you would just come down and lose this monthly higher low here at 510. If we come down and lose that, that's a huge red flag. Or if we come down, test a support and then confirm a monthly downtrend with a lower high and lower low, that is not going to be good at all. So still a while before we could even confirm a monthly downtrend. Could we potentially lose the monthly uptrend on this pullback? I mean, anything's possible, but I don't see that as the most likely scenario. We'd have to lose 5, 10, 27 for that to happen, which means we'd have to drop another 8% from here. But again, we pulled back 10%, over 10% in 2023. We pulled back almost 11% essentially. And here we are now, we're down only 8.5%, a little over. So nothing to worry about, just back testing monthly EMA 12. If we bring up Bitcoin, a lot of people asking me as well, is this the end for Bitcoin? I don't believe so. Again, it's just a monthly higher low forming, and we haven't even back tested monthly EMA 12 yet. So SPY actually dipped slightly below it. And on the monthly time frame here on Bitcoin, that means we would see a pullback to around 75K. So 75,000 psychological, that makes a lot of sense. We might even dip below that, similar to what the S&P 500 just did. But again, we're still in a monthly uptrend. Low, high, higher low, and higher high, higher low, and higher high. We're just looking for another higher low compared to support here at 50,000. And again, if you're not looking at the chart, when in doubt, zoom out. We had how many candles in a row before monthly consolidation began? So it was 5 months before we started monthly consolidation. So when you're going, when you're going up and you continue to see a higher low each and every candle, eventually something's got to give, right? You're not going to go in a straight line forever. So the second we lose the low of the previous monthly candle here, the first time in almost half a year, well, that's monthly consolidation beginning, and we had no support all the way down to 50,000. So 75,000 when we were just at 50,000 is not that bad, right? Just when in doubt, zoom out, and nothing goes in a straight line forever. I just posted a video yesterday on the crypto summit. Ended up being a sell the news like it usually is, but there was a lot of great things that came of that. And then the OCC also said that banks could essentially do any kind of crypto related activities. So it's not going to be against the law or anything like that. That is huge news. And overall, market is still bullish. We were overheated, and it ended up being a sell the news event. And again, Bitcoin, very similar to the S&P 500. Look how similar that chart is on Bitcoin compared to SPY. They're very similar, both starting monthly consolidation and both back testing monthly EMA 12. And EMA just means exponential moving average versus a simple moving average, SMA. So yeah, curious to hear what everybody else has to say. We'll jump into the chat here. For the MJ lovers on the channel, not looking too hot. Tilray, I mentioned this in my last video, was a daily bear flag. So if we zoom out, or sorry, zoom in to the daily time frame, I said we needed to lose the low there at 64 cents to confirm it. Anything under 79 cents was a potential daily bear flag. We did confirm it, but it's a save for now. And then you just take your measured move there from the high to the low, move it out to your 0.32 fib, and it's saying about 49 cents, 50 cents. I even mentioned on my previous Tilray video that I said, 75 cents to 50 cents was more than likely possible because of the fact that the S&P 500 was weak. The rest of the sector was weak. We had bear flags on MSOS and CGC had that 200 million at the market. So yeah, it's another daily bear flag here on CGC as well. So let's just get this exact level. We had an hourly bear flag. We had multiple daily bear flags, but now we got to get rid of some of these lines here so that we can draw a new one. So you would just go from your high here to the low, and you can see it didn't even get above the 236 barely. So it needed to get above the 0.32 at 141. So it was a very, very weak bounce. And then you just take your measured move there from the high to the low, move it out to your 0.32 fib. And there you are. We're expecting a drop down to around 98 cents, which means we're back under $1 for CGC after it just did a 1 for 10 reverse split. So it's back into reverse split territory once again. And is it going to join the likes of an ACB, which has already done 2 splits? The last one it did was a 1 for 10, and the one before that was a 1 for 12. So I always joke, maybe CGC and Tilray needed to do that. Maybe they need to do 2 reverse splits so that so that retail can turn bullish again. Because, yeah, we basically are completing the mountain pattern here on ACB. They had a good earnings report, and everybody said, oh, they're the new darling of the space. They're the ones to own, right? But after 2 reverse splits and 99.8% pullback from all-time highs, after 2 reverse splits and 1 good earnings report, people suddenly think it's the new, darling of the space. But again, I said this was more than likely not going to last. It was going to be short-lived, and it was probably going to give the whole move back. And here we are. We're coming up on the 786, which means we've basically given back almost 78% of this move from the time that we had the decent earnings. But yeah, CGC's flirting with reverse split territory once again. In terms of movers and shakers, we had Oxley. Oxley was actually up substantially today. We hit 10.5 cents. While the market was cratering, but then we closed at the low of the day, and yeah, we're back down to 7 cents. So personally, I'm not selling any anytime soon. I didn't sell any today. I was up, well over 100% on my Oxley position. Very bullish on them long term, and not selling anytime soon. PLTH, NEVI leading the decline today, and on the bull list, we only had AVCN that ended the day green. And then crypto, Solo, SGB, and Flare leading the decline, and on the bull list, we only have storage. And then something to be watching as well is Bitcoin dominance. I've been saying this for a while now. We could confirm a weekly downtrend here with a lower high, lower low. So key support is going to be 60.19%. Break that, and weekly downtrend confirmed. Watch for altcoins to really start to shine. And we could realistically see at any point the case with the SEC and Ripple dropped. And, they might even be waiting for Paul Atkins to come in, which Gary Gensler was confirmed when he was initially confirmed by the Senate. He came into the SEC the end of April, and they're trying to rush the Paul Atkins confirmation. So by that logic, we should see him confirmed by the Senate. And he was already in the SEC before, so I can't see there being any issue with it. I think he was the chair before, so I can't see there being any issue. But more than likely expect that within the next 2 to 4 weeks. Ultimately, I think, we're probably going to see a case resolution. We're probably going to see a settlement. I think they'll end up maybe even giving some of the escrow or paying the fine in XRP, and then the U.S. government might just add that to the stockpile without having to use taxpayer money, right? So that makes a whole lot of sense. But yeah, check out that video that I posted from yesterday. Do we live in a simulation? Just crazy that the Bearable Guy 123 had, in that riddle, a table with a key on it. And then at the crypto summit, which you can see these mountains in the background, he also posted, he or she also posted like a picture of mountains, which looked like a summit, and they're at the crypto summit, and this freaking key emerges, right? The FIFA Cup's there, and there's a key on the table. It's the cup. I think it belongs to the FIFA Cup. Like, you need to unlock the trophy, the FIFA Cup, with this key. And there's been a lot of speculation that Kimball Musk, Elon Musk's brother, is actually the Bearable Guy 123, and he took a picture with this guy. I think he's the president of FIFA. And, like, do we live in a like, how the hell would they know that? It was just crazy. If you haven't seen that video, it's only like little over 9 minutes. I highly encourage you to check it out because it's mind blowing. Like, I'm not really one for riddles or, believing that, everything is, a simulation, but, definitely seems like everything is planned. It seems like they've had this plan for years, and there's a select few people in the world who know what's going on, and then they create these kind of accounts that they hide behind, right? This bearable guy 123, nobody knows who the hell it is. There's a lot of speculation. It could be David Schwartz or Brad Garlinghouse. I don't think so. I think the best explanation yet is Kimball Musk, Elon Musk's brother. I mean, richest man in the world. His brother's the richest man in the world, and yeah, you'd have some crazy connections that way, right? But yeah, it's been crazy. So Tesla, speaking of Elon, I mentioned to the POW Group private community as well that we had a daily bear flag, and I think I mentioned this on one of my live streams last week. But we did confirm the bear flag with a lower high, lower low. So once we lost 273, that was bear flag confirmed. You just take your measure move there from the high to the low, move it out to your 0.32 fib, and it was saying 228 was the target. We actually overshot that and we hit 220 today. We are very oversold here. We're at 20 on the daily RSI, so I will expect at some point over the next, maybe even this week, a pretty big relief rally and a daily lower high at the very least compared to the high there at 303. All right, we'll jump into the chat here. So yeah, SPY, again, it looks like it's falling off a cliff, but not even down 10%, which it did in the summer of I think it was 2023, as I mentioned earlier. And then we could just continue to see monthly higher highs from there. But unfortunately, we could still see a death cross. We're not going to see it anytime soon. The 50-day would have to cross the 200-day moving average. When it's above it, that's a death cross. When it's below it and they cross, that's a golden cross. But we're still very, very far away before that were to happen. I would more than likely even expect if we were to see a death cross, we would probably come back test on a daily lower high and a relief rally, come back test the 100 and the 50-day, and then tighten up and see that death cross play out. But as of right now, we're just back testing the 50 weekly here at 561 and monthly EMA 12. Monthly EMA 12 and the 50 weekly usually end up being somewhere around the similar area. So, some of these simple moving averages and exponential moving averages tend to line up. So there's a lot of confluence and support in that 560, think 550 psychological. After that, there's really nothing until the 100 there at 504. So I really would like to see us hold 550, or else you could really start to see fear in the market. And that's another thing, right? There's so much fear in the market right now. But you have to remember that the market doesn't end in fear. When we were at all-time highs here in just a couple of months ago, actually, I'm on Tesla here. So yeah, when we were at all-time highs just back in February, the fear and greed index wasn't even really in extreme greed. So markets tend to end in extreme greed, right? In euphoria. They don't end in fear. And right now we're in extreme fear and we're only down, like I said, about 8%. So I still think we could see another higher high. I think we could see one more blow off top. I think Bitcoin could hit somewhere around that 120 to 140, pull back, see full blown alt season. We're going to see probably rotation at a big tech into the smaller cap stocks. But ultimately, like I said, just back testing EMA 12. And like I said, in the summer of, it was right here, June, July 2023, we pulled back over 10%, and then we just continued to bust higher. Then we formed another monthly higher low. It was actually a monthly bull flag, and the target on that was 622. And I'll just draw that real quick here. So you go from the low to the high there, and then we'll get the measured move it out to your 0.32 fib. So yeah, it was saying about 620, a little over 620, and we hit 613. So I do think that we could see one more final push higher. But again, just because you pull back 10%, or almost 10%, we're only down 8.5 now, not the end of the world. Almost 9% here. So again, we've done it before, and there's no major red flags whatsoever. Just like here, we were still in a monthly uptrend. We had our low, high, higher, low. We actually had an inverse head and shoulders here. Then we had the low, high, higher, low, and higher high, higher, low, and higher high, higher, low, and higher high, right? So we're just forming another higher low, very similar to here. And it's almost the same size pullback, but no major chart damage, right? If we don't lose the monthly uptrend, that's the most important factor. All right, jumping in. So Mr. Mankey, VIP member of the channel, pretty terrific time out there. Yeah, it's been interesting. Jory not looking too bad though. Gonna say, yeah, that's one thing that's kind of shielding the MJ industry is they've been pulling back so much comparatively to the rest of the market that it hasn't been absolutely destroyed like it normally. Like if we were, if we were seeing 50% rally over the last couple of months and the S&P 500 pulled back like 8-9%, you could expect some MJ names to be down 20-30% on the day, right? Or like during that period. But there was MSOX was down almost 10%. So all things considered, yeah, it didn't hold up too bad. It's the way you look at it, says Sylvia. Yep, the market is what you make of it, but we try to we want to try to remove the emotions and our bias out of it, right? We just that's why I like charts so much, because if you can just learn what these different patterns and indicators are, and then find 8 or 10 of them that you like, right? And then when 80% or 90% of those 10 indicators are all shouting a similar message, well, that's what we're gonna believe to be the most likely scenario, right? Not what we want or what we hope should happen, right? And it just gives you an edge, right? And the MJ industry, like you said, Rod, you time traveler. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I think you might have a typo there. I missed the live interview from the Dallas report. Oh, the Dales report. There seems to be interesting news in the pipeline regarding MJ. Yeah, so I posted in my video over the weekend. If you haven't seen this rapid fire news update, I encourage you to check that out. There's been a lot of news, but essentially we could see a proposal. An activist said we could see a proposal to the White House on why the administration should federally legalize MJ. So it's going to be a few months at least, in my opinion, but we're due for a pop. So, I wouldn't be surprised if it happened sooner than later, but yeah, I still think that, MJ is still going to be a few months yet before we really start to, and then you have to you have to think too, right? If the stock market's going to enter a bear market, how much of this is going to affect MJ even more? I have actually done a video on that. How would MJ hold up if the stock market crashed? So, I do think that if SPY pulled back 5-10% in a day, then MJ could easily be down, 20-30% in that same day, but I think it would recover a lot quicker. But personally, I still don't think the spotlight is off of big tech, crypto, and AI yet. I think we're just seeing a healthy pullback. They're making everybody believe that it's the end, and they're just selling it off so that the Wall Street banks and these hedge funds, these whales can buy it back and see that one final blow off top moment, I think, is what is most likely going to happen. And then after big tech, crypto, AI tops out, then I think MJ, psychedelics, and biotech is probably going to be the sectors to be playing in after that. Hi, Rod. With all these high tariff scares, trade wars, do you think we will have another high on XRP, or is it all over in your opinion? No, I'm not. I'm not worried at all. This too shall pass about tariffs. If you remember, and trade war, if you remember in Trump's last presidency from 2016 to 2020, every second word out of his mouth was China trade war. And the difference back then is the stock market was on its way to all-time highs. The difference this time around is the stock market is so extended, it's not even funny. And, like we were over 600, right? Like if you would have told somebody in 2020 during C19 when we were at 200 on SPY that we would be at 600 in 2025, I bet you most people wouldn't have believed you, right? So we're still extremely bullish. And I just think the market needs a reason to sell off, and these tariffs, like Buffett and like all these other whales, right? Like these very, very sought after and savvy investors, they're all sitting on records amounts of cash, and they've been selling their stocks, right? So again, it's not just that. There's even bills that are coming through Congress right now to ban stock trading for members of Congress and their families. So again, some of that you have to think like, well, is this them preparing for that? Do they know something? Because if they do, and if they do believe that this bill could potentially get passed, why would they want to wait until it actually passes? Why wouldn't, you're at all-time highs, the S&P 500 is at record levels. Why wouldn't you want to just start taking some profit just in case, right? And I think a lot of that is fueling the sell-off. But in regards to your XRP question, no, I think we're still going to be going much higher on XRP. Like we technically hit 380 on one exchange. I think it was like 382 on XRP. So we haven't even broken to a new all-time high yet. We didn't wait 7-8 years since the last all-time high to just come within 50 cents of the all-time high. Like I think I'm still very confident we're going to see that $8 to $12 minimum, and then most likely scenario somewhere around that $13 to $17, and then on the high end maybe 18 to 30. But yeah, I still do think that we're going to see that more than likely over the next few months. Rod, your prediction has come to pass. Crypto is melting down. Now will money start to flow into MJ? No, again, I think I've already answered that. I still think that MJ is going to be a few months yet. I think MJ is really going to be a 2026 thing and maybe even beyond. But yeah, I still think crypto, AI, and big tech is going to steal the show for now, specifically altcoins. Is high tide cooked? No, not at all. Let's see. High tide actually was holding up pretty well. It was only down 4% today. Just like SPY, just still in a monthly uptrend, just searching for a monthly higher low. So no major red flags whatsoever. We have support there at 157 as the next major level. But yeah, still in a monthly uptrend, no major red flags. Like this is what you want to see, right? Like this is an absolute beautiful chart. Like look at that riding the waves, right? That's a nice steady uptrend, or a downtrend is just like this, lower highs and lower lows. Right? If you move like that without higher lows and, a nice, kind of stair step pattern, then you usually fade it all back, right? Case in point, look at ACB. Zoom into the daily time frame. We didn't form any kind of support, right? We gave the whole thing back. Elevator up, elevator down. And this mountain pattern has basically played out, right? Versus if you saw something like this, with steady higher lows and higher highs, well, on the way down, you have all these support levels to break, and it would be much harder, right? Whereas this way, we even had a gap in the chart right there, right? And we filled that, and we might even come fill this one. So yeah, that's why looking at charts is, so much more insightful and helpful than just, looking at numbers on a screen, right? Just like looking at the watch list here. Well, you're not getting the picture, right? You're not getting the full explanation, the full picture. Tilray acting like a crap coin. I think everything's acting like a crap coin here today. Tariffs will bring recession. Yeah, I think I would argue that we're already in a recession, and we have been for a while in the U.S. So again, I think tariffs is just the reason that everybody wants to cling to. But no, I think we've been in a recession for a long time. Agree. Oxley to the moon, baby. Yeah, Oxley, like I said, it was the shining star today. It was at 10.5 cents, which means off of the low there at a penny, it has done over a 10x. So it's done, I guess not. It's like almost 10x, like 980%. So this thing has done a 10x while a lot of other MJ has been dropping like a rock. And like I said, definitely stood out today, but then we sold off into the end of the day sitting at 7 cents, getting close to monthly overbought, actually, which is pretty unbelievable. I wouldn't be surprised if news was coming soon. They do present on Wednesday. Oxley, Hugo Alves, I've interviewed him as well. You can check out that interview on my channel. But yeah, he's going to be speaking, and I think the CFO and the president on Wednesday the 12th. And drop a comment in the video after the live stream is over. If you want to get a link to that, I'll send it to you. Or maybe I'll post it on X or something like that. I think I did post it on X if you just go look it up. But it's gonna be at, I think it's 11. I think it's around 2:20 Eastern time. I'll have to double check that, but we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some news though with this company at some point soon. Tilray did hold 64. Yeah, it's so far a hold for now. Some people compare Bitcoin to the NASDAQ. Yeah, it's tech, like tech and Jam. That's a good point. Bitcoin and NASDAQ, they track each other quite similarly. And again, just backtesting monthly EMA 12. And then if we bring up the Bitcoin chart again, that's very similar, right? Look how similar those charts look. So yeah, it's just tech, right? And Bitcoin's like the killer app, right? It's the asset class to swallow all asset classes. So everything's going to be tokenized, and you're not going to use Bitcoin to do it though, because Bitcoin can't tokenize anything. It doesn't have a DEX on it, right? Whereas XRP Ledger and other chains, you can actually tokenize things. You can even tokenize Bitcoin, right, on the XRP Ledger, right? And yeah, you're going to see everything tokenized. Q4 year's end, Oxley's will send it. Yeah, I can't wait for their next report. It's going to be awesome. Rod, it seems like Tilray and Curaleaf are being walked down together. Possible merger? No, the whole sector's just completely destroyed, right? Let's look at MSOS. It's new all-time lows, lower than anybody could have ever imagined. And from the all-time high to the all-time low, we're down almost 95%. So it's just the whole sector. I wouldn't see, there's no way they would merge anytime soon because Tilray can't have operations in the US. So maybe there's a deal similar to like CGC and Acreage when Canopy acquired Acreage, or through a special purpose vehicle or something like that with Canopy USA. But no, I don't think that would be anytime soon. Maybe in the blue chip phase, but probably be multiple years out. I'm thinking like 5 to 10 years, if it even happened at all. It seems like Irwin Simon has been too quiet lately. Yeah, a lot of CEOs have been. It's kind of par for the course when you're in a bear market. Prices are at all-time lows. There's just really not much to come on. You're better off to just keep your head down and keep building, right? And once the share price starts to recover, that's kind of when they start to come out of the woodworks and be a little bit more vocal and present. Turnaround Tuesday for Oxley. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it had a great day today. Appreciate it, Scott. Check out 3M RSI on SPX. Divergence playing out. Yep. When is your elections in Canada? I think it's going to be like in the fall. They said it could happen like in the spring, but it's more than likely going to be in the fall is what I think they said. And crazy too, that Mark Carney guy, he's actually on the board of Stripe, and Stripe is actually like it has ties to Elon Musk and X and Ripple, and it's just kind of crazy to see it. So if he ends up being the next prime minister, it's going to be interesting. But it seems like I said, to go back to this video that I posted yesterday, it definitely seems like the whole thing was planned, right? The old saying goes, nothing in the finance world happens by accident. It's been planned for more than likely decades. And this is the biggest financial shift in human history. So, you have to think it would be planned for at least 2 decades, I would think. But everything's just starting to come together. We need good news on macroeconomic level. Charts are not going to save crypto. Yeah, I think we should start to see, maybe tariffs start to subside. He kind of backs off that, just like he did last time when he was president. We could even see, peace deals and things like that. Like think Ukraine, Russia, just a temporary thing, in my opinion, more than likely. And the market will eventually recover. And there's some other things, that might happen that we didn't see coming. We might see some more bullish news with regards to crypto, and crypto's been leading the market, really, big tech, crypto, and AI. So is it worth averaging down on MJ stocks right now? Yeah, I mean, I'm not telling you to buy, sell, or hold or anything. You got to make your own decisions, but I can't imagine why I wouldn't want to dollar cost average or average down when things are at all-time lows. I regret investing in the stock market. Yeah, that's pretty much like 99% of people, right? 99% of retail investors usually lose money. Day traders lose 95% or more lose money. So just imagine what, the average person loses. It's probably somewhere around that 95 to 99% of money, people lose money, right? Because the stock market's the only time when people don't like buying things on sale. They only like buying things when their friends or their family or, social media influencers or people online are talking good things about a stock. People are never talking good things when the price is in the gutter, right? And that's typically when you should be buying. But again, if you don't put in the hundreds and thousands of hours into research into these companies and these projects, you're never going to have the conviction to buy the dip and to buy the blood on the street, right? Like, you could, like, when XRP was at 20 and 10 and 20 cents and the SEC sued them, I had so many hours invested into like research and due diligence into this company. Like I said, Elon Musk could have came out and said that XRP was the worst investment in the world, and I would have been like, this guy's high, right? Like, was he just on Joe Rogan again smoking the reefer? Like, what is going on with this guy? Like, I think he's smoking something. He's probably actually smoking the something else that should belong on Schedule 1, right? Like, he's probably on the hard stuff. but yeah, I would not care. Like, the Queen of England, I don't care. Like the U.S., the President of the United States, the Prime Minister of Canada could come out and say XRP is the worst investment ever. You should never buy it, and I would just laugh because I know through thousands of hours worth of research and due diligence that this is the next. Like this is XRP is going to be bigger than Bitcoin and everything else combined in terms of market cap when it's all said and done. Ripple, the company, will be bigger than Amazon, Apple. Mark my words. Mark my words. Just give it enough time, whether it's 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now. Guarantee you, you'll be seeing articles on mainstream media saying that Ripple, the company, not XRP, the digital asset, but Ripple, the company, is worth more than Apple, Amazon, maybe even all of them combined when it's all said and done. And XRP will be worth more than Bitcoin market cap wise. I'm very confident of that. But again, if you're following other people, that's when you get into trouble because you just don't have that conviction, right? You don't have the you're not sold, right? Your fear and emotions will cloud your judgment. Time to get a new prime minister in Canada. Yeah, I don't know how much. Like I said, I hate all politics. Politics, to be honest, I don't even think it matters. Like they're just literally we like it's one or the other party in the U.S. and Canada. Like who cares? We get to pick from one terrible one or the other, and it's usually just a face anyway, right? And then you're watching like videos like this, and like the Bearable Guy 123 basically calling out like they're all just puppets. Like he made this riddle like months ago, and he had a picture of mountains like symbolizing a summit, and then on the latest riddle he had a table with a key on it, and at the summit there was a table with the trophy and the key on it. Like that tells you everything that you need to know, right? Like they're all just puppets. The 6 trillion that will mature in the next 6 months, refinancing that takes precedence over anything. Yeah, and money flow has really been heating up. Like it's looking like we're going to see massive. They could even start printing again, right? They might even go back to quantitative easing. So if they start printing money again, what do you think happens when printer goes burr? Right, assets go up. So that's another thing that markets might not be anticipating right now because they are expecting inflation to tick back up, and yeah, it's probably not going to be a good one. I would argue that we're not going to just be in a recession, which I think we're already in one. I think it's going to be a depression. Like this is going to be a 1929 style crash. I don't think we're there yet. I think we're still maybe 3 to 6 months away. But yeah, 2026 is going to be bad, I think. The current one sucks. Thanks for doing these videos. You bet. No problem at all. Trump has good ingredients. I like his thoughts on buying from your own country, but his presentation sucks. He's too cocky for his own good. Yeah, I mean, he just tells it like it is, right? He just doesn't care about whatever what anyone says, so or thinks. But yeah, I sometimes I can't stand listening to him. Like when they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. I couldn't believe that. Whenever when he was debating Kamala, oh my god, I didn't think after he said that I was like, oh my god, like no way in hell he's coming back from that. But I laughed my ass off. Like that was so funny. His attitude sucks, and I can see him gaining many enemies. Yep. Yeah, he already like half the world hates him, if not more. But you can't deny he's a pretty smart dude. Why is XRP so solid? Because it's the best thing ever, Ken. No, literally, it is the best thing ever. Like it's like a come to Jesus moment. Like I think it was Greg Kidd who said he was at a poker game and it was like Moses coming down from the heavens, like when he heard about XRP. So, and yeah, Greg Kidd, just look at his accolades and his track record. Like he's been like early investor in Facebook and Twitter, and like I think Jack Dorsey was staying at his house and stuff. And like this guy's no small fish. I don't base my investments on riddles though. Yeah, no, you don't. Anybody who does who would is well, I don't even know how you would. There's really nothing in that riddle. I guess there kind of is in that riddle though. In that the one with the table and the key. Let me just see if I can bring it up real quick. I had it in the Pal Group private community here. Yeah, here's the summit. So it begins. Like that's literally, and then the OCC news came out right after the summit, which is basically saying banks can custody and engage in crypto related activities. So like this is where it begins, was like the summit, right? And look, he's with the FIFA guy, he's holding the key, and this guy says the same thing. Crypto XRP zero. Now I'm not one for riddlers, but what is going on? And you scroll down, and then it's like, guess who's friends with the FIFA guy? Now it makes sense how the bear knew. Bearable guy 123. K Musk, he's taking pictures with the same guy, right? And then this is the riddle here. And there's a key. There's the table with the gold key. And here's, okay, USD, XRP, and BTC on there. So, I mean, if you just bought XRP and BTC, I think you would have did pretty good. But yeah, obviously you want to do thousands of hours of research, because like I said, if you're just buying based on a picture or a riddle, well, you're not going to know that this is like the best thing since sliced bread, right? And then when the market tanks, you're going to sell. You're not going to have the conviction, right? But yeah, here's the key on the table. Like, you literally can't make this stuff up. But what I think this is symbolizing is Bitcoin's going to be, they're going to let Bitcoin live, I think. But XRP is going to be the new world reserve currency. It's going to make the US dollar stronger, and it's going to make Bitcoin stronger, because they're already tokenized the USD, real USD, RLUSD on the XRP ledger, right? So it's going to make the US dollar stronger, because when you buy the stablecoin, they have to back it 1-to-1 with T-bills, right? So you're effectively buying US dollars in this stablecoin. So it's going to make that even more valuable. And Bitcoin, it's slow, it's clunky, right? It's expensive. So they'll probably tokenize Bitcoin, put it on the XRP ledger, and XRP is just going to dominate everything, right? That's my thoughts and opinions. But look, there he is holding the friggin' key. It even looks the same. Like, it's not just like a like a regular house key or whatever. Like, look, it's got the same friggin' thing with the teeth and the oval shape. Like, it's the FIFA key. So they must, yeah, the key, I think he put it in the trophy to unlock it, so that he could spread all of these different, it's the perfect golden ratio, essentially, is what it's symbolizing. And he even put this right in front of Michael Saylor and said, basically stare at gold. And he even chirped him. He was like, what is the saying? Like, never sell your Bitcoin or something like that. Who the hell knows if that's right? And then you got, Brad Garlinghouse there. They're both sitting on the edge of the tables, like it's a real life game of chess. They always put it's so crazy. And then in the riddle too, there's a castle here and there's a castle there. Like, it's so crazy. And then the summit, and then right after the summit, the Office of Comptroller of the Currency has confirmed that federal banks are now allowed to engage in crypto-related activities, including providing custody services. U.S. banks can now legally handle crypto and stablecoins. Like, what else do you need to see, folks? Like, to not, again, I don't think we live in a simulation, but what else do you need to see that to prove that the whole world is a stage, right? So crazy. I have never seen an obvious puppet like Joe. Yeah, she was real bad. They are not refinancing at 4.5% rates. I'm not sure what you mean. And I think Bank of Canada is expected to have a rate cut on Wednesday. Trump is definitely very smart, yeah. And so is his handlers, right? And like his whole circle. Would you hold your XRP to zero if it dumped that much? I can't see XRP going to zero. I actually asked Grok. We were talking about it in the Power Group private community, and someone was like, I wonder what IQ you'd have to think that XRP would go to zero. And Grok was basically like, yeah, you'd have a below average IQ. It's kind of funny. But no, it's like, there's no way it's going to zero. Like, I don't even think it's going back under like $1. It might not even go under $1 ever again. Like, it's just imagine, like, when, like, there's still people out there conflating Ripple and XRP, right? Like, the mainstream crypto world they're starting to figure it out, but like, it's not even close yet. But yeah, I'd hold XRP through, till death do us apart, essentially. Rags to riches. Thanks for the early report, Rod. You bet. My pleasure. Have 10 stocks of Nikola in my portfolio. It reminded me that it can go completely wrong. Yeah, NKLA. Yeah, they filed for bankruptcy, Chapter 11. So sorry to hear that, Sylvia. Yeah, I mean, it happens to everything, right? Not just Schedule 1 drugs and that are illegal at the federal level in the U.S. It's It happens to electric vehicles. Amazon almost went bankrupt. Tesla almost went bankrupt. Apple almost went bankrupt. Are we seeing a pattern here? All the stocks and the companies that change the world usually have tons of losses and a lot of debt and just very, very close to bankruptcy at some points, right? Even Elon Musk said if he didn't bend the knee to the SEC, they would have bankrupt Tesla. So yeah, Apple would have went bankrupt in 1997 if it wasn't for Microsoft giving them $150 million, which was essentially, I think it's just north of about 300 million today, adjusted for inflation. So that's a lot of money. And on any given day, Apple could be worth more than Microsoft now, right? So if Apple almost went bankrupt selling computers, not Schedule 1 illegal drugs in the US, what does that say about some of these MJ stocks that people always hate on? It's like, well, we probably should cut it some slack because they're selling Schedule 1 illegal drugs in the US and Apple almost went bankrupt. So what the hell was their excuse, right? But NKLA, a lot of these EVs, right? Similar thing, 80, 90+% corrections. And, they just a lot of them didn't even have sales. Like it was just prototypes. And NKLA was just one of those names that just didn't live up to the hype, unfortunately. Thank you for all you do, Rod. No, my pleasure, Jam. Jam the man. Pump up the jam. I appreciate you. I appreciate you as well, man. Appreciate it. All right. Gonna end it there. Yeah. Good update. Always fun. Almost 100 people still here, 45 minutes in. So I know it's been brutal, but when in doubt, zoom out. Like I said, we're not even down 10% yet on the S&P 500. Could easily go down 10, 15% and still be healthy and potentially see one more higher high and final blow off top euphoric moment. But I don't think the bull market is over yet. Could get worse though before it gets better here in the short term. And yeah, I'll be around. I'll be making videos. I'll be doing content. And yeah, if anybody needs to vent or anything like that, just shoot me a message. Consider joining POW Group as well. That's where, almost 50 of us hang out 24/7, 365. And yeah, if you want a little bit more of a tailored response and to join our community, it definitely helps calm the emotions and maintain a level head for sure. Good night, Jaro, VIP member. And thanks again, Mr. Mankey, as well for being a VIP. All right, have a great night. It's Rod with the POW Group, everybody. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll see you again on the next video. Good morning from Japan. Nice. Never been. Would love to go. All right, take care. Love each and every one of you, and we'll see you on the next one.